In '54 he watched the mill rise up on the river's reach. They said that the stench from the pipes and the stacks had put shoes on poor folks' feet. Now does a river have to die to put shoes on poor folks' feet? Does the mill have to spew the stain and the stench so folks on the bank can eat?
The Altamaha is one of the last great wild rivers. The Nature Conservancy named it Georgia's natural treasure, one of America's last great places. This 137-mile river has no dams. It's famous for its natural beauty. These waters flow from Lumber City to Jesup, where the river system changes, and its peaceful flow is disrupted. The 25-mile stretch downstream from Jesup gave up its life to support Rayonier's mill. 60 million gallons a day of groundwater are used to process pulp from hardwood and pine trees. And the mill converts the pulp into cellulose specialty fibers used in a wide range of products, from paints to plastics, from food products to pharmaceuticals, from cigarette filters to car filters. Their fibers are even used in digital display screens. Wastewater from the industrial processes goes into these unlined holding ponds and to pipes into the river. These brown stains are Rayonier's discharge. From the air, you can see dark plumes overtaking the clearer river water. How does the pollution impact the river system?
I've been the executive director of the Altamaha Riverkeeper for 12 years. We work with volunteers to be the eyes and the ears and the voice for the river. Rayonier recently applied to the Georgia Environmental Protection Division to renew its wastewater discharge permit. This is a great opportunity for people all over the state to get involved in working with EPD and Rayonier to ensure that their new permit has stricter guidelines than the old permit. In May of this year, our former riverkeeper, James Holland, took us to see some of the problems you can't see from the water. It's a virtual graveyard of mussels. A lot of people don't understand why there's a problem with dead mussels, but they're somewhat like a canary in the coal mine. They're a barometer for the health of the river. We do know that the mussels above the pipes seem to be alive, and the mussels below the pipes are dead. The river's habitat has consequences on the fish too.
It's just pollution. It was down here when they first started. When I was probably 8 or 10 years old, Rayonier would dump in the river and fish kills and all the lakes and stuff, and I rode and helped them pick them up. And ever since then, it's gone downhill.
All kinds of fish are a source of food to rural people and once provided income, but that's not the case anymore. The shad, the redfish, the brim that were once abundant are no longer available in the river.
I started fishing and really got serious when my children came along to help put them through school. It was a way of survival to get my children through college. This was from the early 50s to the late 60s that I noticed a difference in the catch of fish. We caught tremendous amounts of shad. I have caught as much as 1,000 pounds of shad in one day. Now, you're lucky if you catch 3 or 4.
It has been probably 15 years since I've caught any fish to amount to anything. Redbreast was one of the best fish that we ever had and was a good game fish to catch, and we just don't have them anymore.
While the Rayonier Mill provides jobs, most other small businesses that depended on the river are long gone.
I'm the only private-owned fish camp on the Altamaha River. If they cleaned up the river, all the fishing business would come back.
You'll see recreational fishing here. Those big catfish are a lot of fun to catch. Bottom feeders like mullet and catfish are scavengers. They ingest heavy metals from the industrial wastewater that's in the river sediment. That's why fish advisories warn people to limit what they eat.
When you see the murky water, that's a sign of another problem. Look at this clump in the fisherman's hand. Particles in the water combine with sand grains to make these muddy layers.
The particles are a double problem for freshwater fish. Floating particles clog their gills so they can't breathe, and settled particles create a muddy bottom. Fish that need a sandy bottom to lay their eggs can't reproduce here.
We've gotten lots and lots of calls from people who fish below the Rayonier pipes. Take home nice-looking fish only to find that they smell like black liquor from the plant. The folks who know the river and who have fished it all their lives tell us they'd never fish below the pipes. They always go upstream to harvest good, healthy fish.
I caught, dressed, and donated all the fish to feed the people that was competing in the competition for the catfishing. The fish that I donated came approximately 5 miles, 10 miles above the pup mill at Upper County Landing.
And then there's the impact on recreation. In June 2012, the Georgia River Network brought its annual Paddle Georgia to the Altamaha. Midweek, they paddled the 22-mile stretch below Rayonier.
Yesterday I was paddling down the river and all of a sudden it was just this noxious smell. It burned the back of my throat, it burned my eyes started watering, and it smelled terrible.
I've paddled over 800 miles. I know a Blackwater river when I'm paddling on one. The Ohoopee a gorgeous river. It's crystal clear, dark colored, very similar to a glass of iced tea. A couple days after passing the Ohoopee, we paddled past the Rayonier plant. After a couple hundred yards, the river became very, very dark, but it was murky and almost scary looking.
It's difficult to look at this murky black water and not wonder what the chemicals have done to the Altamaha. In addition to industrial chemicals, the wastewater includes some natural constituents of wood, like lignins, that become toxic to river life when transformed by the manufacturing process. Byproducts of the bleaching process add sulfur, salts, and organic chlorinated compounds like dioxins and phenols.
When I fished for a living, fished every day, I'd keep my boat in the water all the time. And I noticed that there'd be pits in the foot when, like it was part in salt water. And I couldn't figure out what was doing it. Something would eat the bottom of the motor up. And since I just fish once in a while, I pull my boat out every time, I don't have that problem anymore.
Another part of the river system's story is the impact this river has on the estuary, where seawater is diluted with fresh water from the river. Those 60 million gallons of groundwater that are used by Rayonier each day have a more pronounced impact during drought, and we've had years of drought. The impact of reduced river flow and a lower groundwater table is the intrusion of salt water upriver. University of Georgia researchers study the impact of lower freshwater levels, changes in nutrients, chemical pollution, increased salt water on salt marsh ecosystems. With low river flow, pollution remains in the estuary longer before being flushed out. All of these factors have a detrimental impact on the estuary, which is the breeding area for shellfish, ocean fish, and plankton, which is the basis of the ocean food chain. Ultimately, this all impacts the overall coastal economy.
State water quality regulations indicate that waters shall be free of turbidity, odor, materials that are objectionable and interfere with legitimate uses of the water. That's exactly what the Rayonier discharge currently does. It's not just about regulation, and it's certainly not about politics. It's about allowing a world-class river to have adequate water quality for people to fish and swim and recreate in that river.
It was very clear by the effort they put into making a good impression with Paddle Georgia how important it is to them to have good relationships. Why haven't they done the single most important thing that they can do that would enhance their reputation, which is to clean up the river?
One of Georgia's greatest industrial heroes is the late Ray Anderson. He was the founder and CEO of Interface Carpet, a global billion-dollar company. Anderson was an industry leader who broke the paradigm that you can't make money and protect the environment, because you can do both.
It was a question from our customers in the summer of 1994 that led us at Interface to our sustainability mission. What is your company doing for the environment? It was in seeking to answer this tough-to-face question that we opened up the most amazing wellspring of innovation we've ever seen in our company. The quest for sustainability, zero environmental footprint, zero impact, has turned out to be so right and so smart in environmental terms and in pure business terms. Moreover, our costs are down, not up. Our products are the best they've ever been, and the goodwill of the marketplace is enormously gratifying. Truly, we have discovered that it really is possible to do well by doing good, and that this is a better business model in every way. Here's my punchline. If we, a billion-dollar global petro-intensive company, can do it, it's not only possible, but anybody can do it. And if anybody can, it follows that everybody can.
Interface is the model for what you can do. Help us challenge Rayonier to update its business plan. It's past time for Rayonier to clean up its act and clean up the nasty discharge to the Altamaha and help to restore and protect the resources that make up this world-class river.
Now lots of folks got more than shoes with wages from the mill. Farms were saved, kids went to school, but the river still ran ill. But if the folks at the mill would do what they know is right, we could all walk prouder in our fine new shoes. Uncle Toad would drink to that. Let's all drink to that.